democratic centralism, if you like, is the core idea of the Labour Party from the governments after 1945, and it seeks consent. It uses the machinery of consent also, but it then, once it's got consent, then it governs for the best, and it's got a certain egalitarian program that it delivers those results. This is what the driving impulse, if you like, of Labour Party. And democratic republicanism, well, this is a strand, you could say the nearest democratic republicanism has ever got executive power was when Milton was effectively the international Secretary of State to the Cromwell's Council of State. And that was the nearest he got to high office. Since then, you know, it's been Blake and Tom Paine and Mill and Tawney, and he says Charter 88. And his argument is that the core characteristic of democratic republicanism, which he says has always been there as a tradition in British politics, is what he calls the kinetic energy, the desire for people to have the argument, to renew, to be actively part of what the political culture is, to claim the country on a continuous basis. And I thought about this because it was the first time I'd seen that concept used, and there it was as a description of the Charter, but also of connecting the Charter to, if you like, the level of tradition. And it seems to me that you know, this is a strong argument that there is a tradition here which the Charter draws on, and which I think that Unlocked Democracy is now also seeking to draw on, which in a broad sense is democratic republican. That's to say, it's democratic. It's not necessarily republican in the narrow sense of having to get rid of the monarchy. After all, many republics, Spain is in a way a republic, may have a hereditary head of state, but it's a very democratic country. And the essence of that republicanism is that people feel they're self-governing, and that we are not in this car which has got this central control system, and which is basically we have to consent to it. And so I think that the tension now is between us and there are now the democratic republican strand is beginning to penetrate through localism, which Peter was talking about, into the Conservative Party. Oddly enough, it finds itself in strange places. And we're up against the state, which, if I can put it this way, the impulse behind the database state is a high-tech reimposition of the traditional form of rule over us. We're no longer deferential, but we're, instead of being, as Gordon Brown once said, that he was trying to support us from being subjects to citizens, it's now from being subjects to subjects. High-tech subjects, fearful of the camera rather than deferential, but nonetheless absorbing into ourselves the kind of civility which the Republican tradition has always opposed. Thank you.
I'd like to say thank you to the bookshop and to Anthony, and if there are any questions, arguments, brickbats, the police are going to be arguing.
Would you say that the way the current democracy is being developed in parliamentary systems is rather like salami slicing the freedoms that we have in small chunks gradually to get a particular objective? By that I mean the Freedom of Information Act coming out but not being fully implemented,
right.
And then you ask to say, and you can't have it because it's, you know, and then there is the human rights, but it's not fully implemented and things like that. You're talking about the broken engine type scenario, that only bits of it are put in, and the purpose of that
right.
is to look as if you're getting a salami roll, but you're only getting a small slice of it at a time. Or you've given a bit of
I think my own view, so